What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Dream Huge podcast. How we doing today? Folks, we love to share success stories from huge dreamers, folks in the real estate business, movers, shakers, influencers, and more. And hopefully these interviews and stories will help to motivate you to dream huge. And today's show is hosted by Biggie, the three-time champ. What's up, Justin Bigelow?
Just enjoying life.
Just enjoying life, baby.
Feeling outstanding.
Feeling outstanding. Love to hear it. Thank you for taking the time today. JP for three, John Pavlansky, the top producer in 2023, over 13 million sold. How you doing, JP?
I am doing absolutely fabulous today, Pete. I am excited to talk some real estate with one of the absolute gurus in our area. Pete, my man, how are you doing today, brother?
I'm doing outstanding as well. And yeah, super excited for this one. Our special guest today is Tracy Jones. She is the owner, CEO, and associate broker of the Tracy Jones team, Keller Williams Legacy Group, at Keller Williams Legacy Group. And she's actually kind of a big deal. She is speaking in Las Vegas at the upcoming KW Family Reunion. She will be a host, a guest panelist in Vegas for that. So we are excited to have her on the show today. So Tracy, how are you?
Good, thanks. And thank you for the fantastic introduction. So excited. Vegas is big. It's one of the biggest venues I've ever had the opportunity to share it. So I'll tell you more about that here in a little bit. I know you guys have a lot of questions for me, so take it away, guys.
Yeah, no. So tell us, let's start right off the top with, just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do currently.
So I am 7 years in the business. I own my own team. I started my team in 2019. My husband joined us in 2020. The biggest part of our story is Ryan and I are in recovery. We've been clean and sober, me for 17 years, him for 16 years. We live a 12-step program. That's our principles. We operate on honesty, integrity, transparency, accountability, and that's how we run the team. The speaking engagement that I have out in Vegas, it's a community that we've started within our organization, and it's for real estate agents who are in recovery because our industry is so substance heavy. People that are trying not to drink and trying to stay sober, we need all the help that we can get. So I'm on the board of directors for a community called Clarity. And what we do is we go to these great big functions and we offer sober alternatives to the really big alcohol heavy events that they have. We'll have a sober soiree where people can come and hang out and they don't have to be in an environment with a bunch of alcohol.
Love that.
That's
outstanding.
awesome.
I did not know that. And really, and I don't get too deep into it, but you can actually, counterintuitive to many folks' beliefs, you can actually do a lot more sober. You are a lot less inhibited. Simple fact of just driving around without a care in the world, without having to worry about hurting yourself or somebody else, or pre-planning your whole night. It's crazy. I'm not sober, but I have been drinking a whole lot less. And it really opens up things like you could not believe. Would you agree with that, Tracy?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I wouldn't have anything I have today if I were still partaking in drugs and alcohol. Would not have anything. Probably wouldn't even be alive, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just so counterproductive. Man, all it does is slow you down. And I know you're me and these two other guys here. We are go-getters. I want to go running at full speed as fast as I can. And all drugs and alcohol do is just slow me down. I don't need that. I love going fast.
Yep. I can agree completely.
Yeah, I've never drank, so I don't know what it's like, but I can, I've seen people, I've been through things, and I'm not going to do that. So I see what it does to people, and I don't want that in my life.
Yeah.
But it is interesting to see, what happens when you are on the other end of where I'm at, which is always drunk.
Yeah.
I don't know how you go through life that way.
And that's a testament to how inspiring your story is too, Tracy, because I mean, you are just an absolute, just boss. That's the best way to put it. You are just a boss. So if you don't mind, and we don't want to dig too deep into anything you don't want to talk about, but tell us a little bit about how that experience was, is from turning from that life into the life that you have now. It's definitely, it's 17, 16 years. It's been a long journey and a long process, but explain to us some of the trials and tribulations you went through with all that.
For sure. Ryan and I, my husband, we actually met a 12-step meeting. Neither one of us had anything, like nothing. And we decided that, we dated in our first early years of recovery, which is also a no-no. It's like, I like to be the outlier, I like to be the exception to the rule. And apparently Ryan was okay with that too. And we built a life together, and we've overcome so much. We both got college degrees while we were together. I've graduated from college at 40 and got my bachelor's degree while he worked and helped put me through college. Ryan went back to college. He got a degree. He was a physical therapy assistant. So when I got my real estate license, he was doing physical therapy. He was doing home health care. And when COVID hit and 2020 hit, he didn't have work because they canceled all the elective surgeries. They canceled all his home health care. And he coaches in a CrossFit gym, and he teaches Olympic lifting, and that couldn't be done. He wasn't allowed in the gym. He had nothing. And he was not nice. So we started, I was like, we've got to do something. And we got up in the morning at 5:00 in the morning. We had our coffee. We walked the dog. We ran the dog. He was working out in the driveway with his friends from CrossFit. They threw down mats and they did their thing, which, not my thing, but it's their thing. So that was good. And he got his license, and he started selling real estate with us. It was just Christina and I. And he was like, yeah, I'll help you. And then we brought on a couple other team members, and everybody's still with us. They made it through COVID. And then 21, you could walk out the door and trip over business. It was la la land. Like, you didn't have to have skills to sell real estate in 21, man. You just had to show up. So he went through that with us, thank God. And then he's doing, he's with us obviously now. And we have figured it out where he took a bunch of different jobs on the team, and we've decided, like, operations is just not his thing. Pete, you might be able to relate. That man can't sit still. Like, he wants to be in the gym, hanging out with his friends. He's coaching, he's working out. He likes to show houses. He likes to look for flips. He does not like to sit at a desk and pour over any kind of operation stuff. So we just let Ryan run and gun and do his thing because, he likes to be the people person. And then I'm in the office with Carly and help manage the team. And we've got a really good thing going. And I'm just like, every day I'm grateful. Every day I'm grateful. And I think that as long as we have an abundance mindset and we know that there's enough for everybody, we're not going to be threatened by anybody, And like, especially this little guy here, like, they're like, John, who? How the hell is this kid selling all this real estate? Like, he's got to be cheating. Pete's giving him business. Something is happening, And my mind goes to, what the hell is this kid doing? How can I help? Because we have this young person that's doing these fantastic things. And like, all I want to do is like, I just want to be like, what can we do to help you, kid? Like, this is amazing. And, he'll attest to it. I'm like, you and I are not the same. If you're thinking, screw this kid, I'm thinking, how can we help this kid? Because like, it's beautiful. Like, I want to see these little Gen Zs do something with their lives. My God, please, you know?
And that speaks volumes to the kind of person you are, and the same kind of person that guy down there is too. You guys don't just want the success for yourself, but you want to see every single person around you, whether you have a personal relationship with them or not, succeed. I remember reaching out to Tracy at the end of last year and asking her, and this is after we've built a good friendship relationship in the meantime, but I just asked her questions about, hey, I'm bringing on an employee. I want to start a transaction coordinator. How can I help? And she didn't. She called me. She gave me some tips, but she didn't just give me tips or nothing like that. She brought me and my employee into her office, and she sat us down with her and her transaction coordinator and assistant and taught us how to do things. And any questions you have, let us know. And that is that exact abundance mindset that Pete preaches all the time too, is there's no secrets in this game, and we're all here to help each other. There's enough business to go around. So
yeah,
100%
agree
with that.
Yeah, no, we always support each other. There's certain brokerages and agents out there who are the opposite, complete opposite of that. Would never even think about supporting each other, would think about each other's extreme rivals. But man, in this business, there is enough to go around. I want everybody to succeed in this business. I agree. And there's enough to go around for everybody, because not only are we buying and selling, you mentioned it, Tracy, we're doing flips, we're doing buy and holds, we're doing, we're investing. Yes, we are buying and selling. We have property management. You can build, there's so many different avenues you can take it. And as you get older into the business, it starts to become more about what is your legacy going to be, and less about what type of car do I drive. So, and I really enjoy that. And thank you for that, Tracy, for taking the time to spend with us and with JP and McKenna as well, because like JP said, that's a testament to you and your character. That is probably part of the reason why that you've grown so quickly as well. And that's going to be my next question for you is, what do you think are some of the reasons that you are able to grow and thrive and become a leader in our marketplace so quickly?
I only compete with myself. And on my team, everybody has individual goals, and we coach to the individual goals. I have one agent that just came back from maternity leave. She's just trying to survive. Like, she's got 2 under 2 years old, and we're not telling her like you have to compete with Christina, who has 1 teenager at home. Like, it's not possible. Like, we don't want that. We want to know, what do you want from your life, and how can we help you live your best life? What's your personal life look like? How can we make the best life for you? We've got Mike that's been on our team, and the same thing goes for him. They all set individual goals, and I try on a weekly basis to coach them to their individual goals. And it's not just personal goals, or it's not just business goals. We coach to personal goals too, because if all we're doing is driving business and we're not focused on what our personal goals are, we're not going to be successful at business. I got kind of single-minded, and because obviously I have an addiction and I'm in recovery, I was using food to deal with my feelings and emotions. I gained a bunch of weight, and I'm like, I don't feel good. I don't feel confident. I can't work, and I'm tired all the time. So I'm like, I'm going to be 50 years old this year. Like, I need to do something about this. So I started, on a couch to 5K, then a couch to 10K. Now I'm training for a half marathon, and I'm getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I got my dog with me, right? Yeah, absolutely. Nice. And I read this, I didn't read it, I listened to it. It's called Comfort Crisis. And it's a fantastic book. Easter Day, Michael Easter, I think, or Michael Easter Day. I'm going to tear it up, but it's Comfort Crisis. And it is one of the most fantastic books you will listen to or read. He talks about how we all are in a comfort crisis where we are so comfortable that we're not pushing ourselves anymore. And you have to experience discomfort in order to grow.
Yes.
Talked about rucking. Like, how people start rucking, they wear the big, heavy pants. So I was like, okay. So I really enjoy walking my dog. I'm out of shape. I'm overweight. I'm going to buy this weight vest. So I bought this weight vest that's 26 pounds, and I'm like, oh Lord, I'm going to die. And it's got more. I know it's got these 2.5 pound weights in it. So I'm wearing it and walking the dog because, this guy in this book told me that if you wear these weight vests, it'll redistribute your weight. Like, if you're too heavy, it's going to help you grow muscle. And if you're too light, it'll help you grow muscle. If you're heavy, it's going to redistribute and help you grow muscles where you need them. So like now, 6 months later, I've got the vest because I'm up to 46 pounds.
Nice.
So I throw that vest on in the morning, hook the dog up, and we do about 4 miles. So I do that 3 days a week, and then 4 days a week I'm running with him. And he's 10 years old. And I was like, I got to make sure I exercise my dog because I want him to have a long life. This is what I'm thinking. This is why I get up, because I love my dog. And I'm like, well, I want to have a long life too. So I need to exercise me. It's common sense. Like, what do we do for our loved ones, but we don't do for ourselves? So yeah, now I'm up to 46 pounds on this weight vest, and I'm feeling good. And I'm like, I feel so much better. And I've lost. So I went from 226 to Now I'm 166 and I'm like, man, I'm at fighting weight. I'm ready to go. But it's not just about business. It's about, we have to take care of our personal selves, and we have to be healthy both mentally, spiritually, and emotionally if we want to take care of business. And as a leader, it stops being about us. You know, the minute that the leader wants it to be all about them, the leader is going to lose. Like, it has to be about my team. It has to be about my clients. Like, yeah, my name's on the wall because it's my team, but it's not about me anymore. And, you know, when I started the team, I knew that. Like, I don't ever promote like my sales or my stuff. Like, I'm always promoting my team, because it's more important to hold them up than it is to hold me up.
So personal goals. So I think what you were getting at was, you know, you really harp on not only business goals, but personal goals for yourself and your team, depending on where they are in their personal life.
Yes.
And it sounds like you hold them accountable. And that's one of the reasons that you folks continue to grow, because you have that balance, that work-life balance, it sounds like.
Correct.
And that connection too. I mean, you guys are all intertwined, not only in the business aspect, but you're holding each other accountable for your personal goals and things you want to do personally. And that creates a relationship that goes beyond business. And that's, I think, why your team is so successful, and why you've been, I mean, how many years running have you been number one on the MLS, Tracy?
Honestly, I don't keep track. I don't look at it. The only numbers I keep track of are my own. Like,
Yep.
I just want to know if my team year over year, where we're at. Like, I literally, unless somebody's like, man, you're this, I'm like, okay. But last January, we did this many units, and this January we did this many. Like, it's irrelevant to me. I'm sorry, but
no, that's exactly why you are as successful as you are, because you're not looking at those things.
Yes.
No. I mean, if somebody comes through and they start hammering us, I'll be like, right on, man. But, you know, I just need to know what my numbers were last year and what they are this year.
Yeah, like
what did you do before?
Oh, sorry, Pete.
Go ahead, Biggie.
I was just gonna say, you know, like you were worrying about your numbers. I just took a note in my journal on my phone, and I was like, man, it's not about being number one. It's about feeling like I'm number one, because as long as I am number one in my book, it's all that matters.
Right.
You know, everything, the leaderboard is kind of a vanity thing for everybody else to look at. But it's like, as long as I did everything I did, it's all that matters. You know, when I go to the gym, I'm not doing what Pete does. I'm doing what I'm doing. And I'm going to do the best that I can do. So I don't care if y'all give me shit. I'm doing my thing.
Yep.
Yeah. None of us want to do what Pete's doing, trust me.
No, you're only competing with yourself. Absolutely. So, okay, I want to touch on a few of the fitness things first. Awesome job with that. Tremendous work. When is the half marathon?
I have not scheduled it yet. So, again, back to the recovering from addiction.
Yep.
In 2015, I signed up for the Mohegan 100, and I dropped at mile 94. So, like, last time I started running, because I tore my hamstring, but last time I started running, I went from a 5K to a half marathon. Then I started running marathons. Then I started running 50 milers. Then I was like, oh, hey, what's this 100 miler thing? So I have to be, so I'm trying to temper myself, and I'm just doing like this, the 13.1 trainer is the couch to 10K, couch to 5K trainer. It's intervals. So like today was 7 intervals of run 3 minutes, walk 2 minutes, run 3 minutes, walk 2 minutes, because I am so freaking competitive, and just like, I just can't help myself. I'm not watching like how many minutes it's taken me to run a mile. Like, I'm just enjoying the process, and I'm just training because like I'm trying to make it more about my health and less about just beating whoever's in front of me. So I'm trying to come into this like I'm turning 50, but I don't think it's going to work. So I'm just trying. Like I know.
Are you guys sensing this? This is this addictive personality right here. This is this addictive personality. She goes all in on whatever she does. If it's real estate, she's going freaking all in. If it's fitness and running, it's going all in. If it's drinking and doing drugs and partying, it's going all in. So that's what's great about when you drop off the drinking, because you can find something else to be passionate about and go all
Yeah.
in on, and it fills that
Yes.
void.
Yes.
So that's what's great about that. You can find that. So when is the big rucking event? Are you going to do one of those?
Yeah, I'm just with my dog in the morning. Yeah, we do 4 miles.
Perfect.
Again, it's
Because
just,
I know they do these ruck events all across the country, right? And you can
yeah,
go on these big outings with the weighted packs and everything. I didn't know if you had that on
yeah.
your calendar.
Like I said, I'm trying not to get crazy about that stuff right
Right,
now. So
right.
I'm trying to use some self-control right now. I don't know how long that'll last. So
Right. Okay, so back to
just
real
for
estate.
today. Yes,
What did you, well, actually, before real estate, curious, what did you do before real estate and what brought you to real estate?
this is fun. I'm going to try to keep it abbreviated.
Yeah.
So I was a third generation auto worker. I was out at General Motors. My grandpa was a tool and die maker. My dad was a welder, and I was in a mechanics trade. So I was actually, I was a grease monkey. I climbed in and out of presses and turned a wrench and worked hydraulics, pneumatics, robotics. Like I turned a wrench with like nobody's business and covered in grease all the time, and I freaking loved it. Programmed robots, it was great. They closed our plant, as you guys know, and I had to reinvent myself in my 30s. And Ryan and I, at that point in time, I was new to sobriety. Ryan and I had just gotten married, and he's like, take the buyout, Trace. I had shared custody of my kids. I did not want to leave the state and go somewhere else with GM. So I went back to school, took the 99 weeks of unemployment, got an associate's degree in general ed because, when I was in school, all I did was screw off. So I didn't have any credits for anything. So, I spent all that time just getting the credits that I should have gotten in high school. From there, I ran out of unemployment, so I got a job at the post office. I worked as a clerk for a little bit. I worked as the janitor. Eventually, I got in as a substitute mail carrier. I carried mail for 3.5 years, and I was a sub, so I carried mail in every freaking post office in the 449 and 448, so everywhere. Like I carried mail in Norwalk, I carried in Butler, Belleville, Shelby, Mansfield, Ashland, you name it, I carried, which really helped me in real estate. Um, Graduated with my bachelor's in executive management with a finance focus from Mount Vernon Nazarene. And I thought, well, I'll just go back and manage in these factories that I used to work at. Well, nobody wanted to hire me because I was a worker and I didn't have any management experience. I'm like, but I have a degree, but you don't have any management experience. But I know what they're doing, and now I have a degree. They didn't care. So
Mm.
I just took the first job I could get was in this factory, locally, I won't say, but they don't do background checks and they don't do drug tests. And I was managing third shift all by myself with these 25 people that I used to be just like, nodding out in the bathrooms. It was very interesting to say the least. And then I got a job at Newman Tech because then I finally had management experience on my resume. And at Newman Tech, I was again managing third shift there, and they have transfer presses just like I worked at GM. So it was my job to troubleshoot those presses. So again, I'm in overalls, I'm climbing in and out of presses, I've got steel-toed boots on, and I'm just wrenching my brains out. And it was same old, same old. Fast forward, Ryan decides he's going to school, so he's in clinicals. So I get this bright idea that I'm going to work in this factory third shift, and then I'll get my real estate license, and maybe I could make up his salary selling real estate during the day and then working in the factory during the night, just so we could get him licensed as a physical therapy assistant. So I started doing both and putting Ryan through college because he put me through college. He was working 7 days a week when I was laid off, and he was taking care of me. And I'm like, okay, babe, it's your turn. Like, because John's been around the two of us, and like my husband and I, man, we're lockstep. He's my best friend. And like, that's a big secret to our success. Like, we would do anything for each other. We're ride or die. And like, there's no secrets between us either, which is absolutely wonderful. But so I was like, I can do this. I'm going to get you through college. It's not going to be that long. So this was from like July until like October, and I was working probably 100 hours a week, and I had enough in my pipeline that he and I sat down, and I'm like, man, I'm miserable at this factory, and I think I can do this real estate thing. And he's like, yeah, I think you can too. I think you're good at it. And we had 2 kids in high school. We had 2 car payments. We had a house payment. We had student loans. He's in clinicals, not making a dollar. And I'm going to quit this job that I'm making $70,000 a year, a 401k, and full benefits to sell real estate to support our family.
Best
He's
decision
like,
you ever made, baby. Best decision ever.
and he's like, I
Hallelujah.
believe in you. Yeah. He's like, I believe in you. You can do this. And I just got my mind set on, I've always been blue collar all my life. I need a paycheck every week. So if I can just sell 1 house a week, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
And my first year, my first full-time year, I sold 64 houses while he was going to college. And that's, you know, that's with my kid going to, he made state that year in wrestling. Teenagers, I mean, and we managed, man, we made it. And it was something else. And then the following year, I started talking to some people, and they're like, man, you need some help. Maybe you need to start a team. You need to hire people. Sound familiar, little man?
Oh yeah.
You can't keep doing this all by yourself. So I was like, maybe you're right. And, you know, that's when 2019 is when the Tracy Jones team came to fruition, and we haven't looked back since.
Woo! Love it. What an awesome story. Love it.
That,
Man.
oh my gosh. So that, first of all, explains so much about you and your character, Tracy. It does. It does. The whole entire, that explains so freaking much, because you are a woman that absolutely, it doesn't matter who's in the room, you command respect. You command respect. And I think that actually, you started at GM, and you were probably working around 90% males, and I'm sure you were the same way there, commanding respect. So that puts a lot in perspective for me.
Yeah, it was definitely a man's trade. Like, I think the mechanics trade I was in was like 97%.
I have a
Take
familiar
notes,
person.
girls. Take notes, girls. If you want to be a badass in real estate, that's the path to take. Okay, so I got to know this. How in the world did you sell 64 houses your first year in the business?
Zillow.
Beautiful.
Zillow.
Tell us.
So I started, and oh my goodness, Ryan was so nervous. I spent like $500 a month. And I was like, okay, I got 500. And you guys, back then we could buy Zillow leads for like $25 a piece, $40 a piece. Like right now they're like $211 a piece is what they cost me. So it was drastically different when I first started, but I was like, okay, I'm going to do $500. I couldn't afford the big zip codes that I wanted. So I did the outliers, you know, like Polk and Shelby, and like maybe Nankin might have somebody, or I couldn't get the big ones that I wanted. And every time that phone rang, man, I worked that lead like my life depended on it, because it basically did, you know. And then I get a couple closings, and I'm like, I think I might be able to buy a couple more. And, you know, Ryan's like, oh man, Tracy, I don't know. I'm like, I gotta buy more of these leads. If I don't buy more of these leads, like, because like, you know, we're clean and sober. So it's not like I'm running the bars partying. Like, I'm not a social person. Like, I'm really not out doing anything. I don't belong to any clubs. I'm like, I don't know how the hell, who's going to buy real estate from me or sell real estate with me? Like, they don't even know who I am. And the people that do know who I am probably remember when I was doing all that rotten shit that I shouldn't have been doing. So what do? Like, I have to meet strangers and make friends with them and convince them to like me and trust me. Yeah. So that's what I did. And then as I got more closings, I would buy a little bit more. And it got to the point where Ryan was like, Tracy, your Zillow bill is the same as our house payment. Like, are you sure about this? I'm like, it'll be fine. You know, it'll be fine. One house will pay that bill, and then I'll need 2 more. We'll be fine. It'll be fine. And obviously it was fine. And what I did was I just took care of those people, and I treated them like they mattered, because they did. You know, they were important to me, And it wasn't commission breath either, because I didn't want them to think that like the only reason I was being kind to them was because I needed to sell them something. Because
Right.
even if I didn't sell them something, for me, I felt like I was practicing.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody wanted to see a house and they're not pre-approved, I don't care. Everybody gets one. I don't ask them if they're pre-approved. I'm going to show them one house. And if they can't buy that house, so what? Because guess what? I'm still buying leads in that zip code. And when the phone rings the next time, I'm going to be like, oh, hey, yeah, I was just in that house yesterday. And it's got this and it's got that. And you're really going to like this. And guess what? They didn't waste my time, because now all of a sudden I sound like an expert. And it's all about the mindset. And every single time I answer that phone, it's an opportunity to improve my craft and to sharpen my skills and to meet somebody new and try to be kind to them. I had a Zillow business consultant, and as I would drive to appointments, he was scripting with me and helping me, teaching me how to talk to people, because, you know, being blue collar all my life, and Pete knows my dad and my brother, he knows how we talk to each other. I had to be taught how to be kind to people and behave myself, and what it sounds like when you're touring homes, and different people, obviously, you know, I call it social grace. Like, there are people that, you know, I can say anything I want in front of. There are people,
Right.
like, we don't talk to our grandma the same way we talk to our friends, right?
Yeah.
So knowing the difference of, you know your audience and speak to them on a level they understand. And, you know, I have a fantastic vocabulary, but not everybody likes those $5 words I use. And if I can recognize the person in front of me doesn't use those giant words, and I can speak more simply to them, it makes them feel comfortable. So what language are the people speaking to you? Like, sometimes I'll say that's absolutely redundant, right? Because redundancy drives me nuts. But if I have a person in front of me that's going to be like, what the is redundancy? I'll say, you know, I don't like to repeat myself over and over and over again. I mean, it's something that simple that you don't have to say redundancy to somebody that's not going to understand it. You adjust your language accordingly. And if you work those Zillow leads and you work them hard and you try to make friends with strangers, you're going to figure out how to talk to people.
I have to say, wow.
Yep.
I'm not
Absolutely.
That's super familiar. That literally is, we're on like equal paths in terms of that way it was in the beginning. It's the same way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. So folks that are getting started, I hope you took notes on this. Okay. Number one is invest in yourself. Okay. And most importantly, invest in marketing. So many new agents are afraid to spend marketing dollars, and it's tough. And you did it the right way. Start out small, but grow it, but know that you have that in mind. The SBA suggests that we spend 7% of our gross income on marketing. So, you know, and if you want to reverse engineer that and say, well, hey, I want to make 100,000 a year, then you should be spending $7,000 a year in marketing. Okay. So just,
that's fair.
and that's how you get to that. Okay. So, and then with the Zillow leads, yes, you bought them and you had success with them, but you said it. It's because you were working the leads. You were showing up. You were treating them kindly. You were building relationships. So not everybody, I think a lot of that comes to you naturally, because you have the it, you know, you're a natural badass, like JP says. But, you know, you just keep showing up and keep following up. The leads don't close themselves. I know certain Zillow leads I've had over 30 touches with a single Zillow lead. And once people can start to wrap their minds around that, that's when you can get the full return on your investment for those leads. You really have to work them.
And you only have to buy the lead once. I can't tell you how many Zillow leads we've had that have repeated, that have turned into our friends, that have referred their other friends, that, I mean, over the years, and especially like the new people, like the first time home buyers, when you treat them with kindness and respect, they're going to either get promoted and they're going to decide they want a bigger house. And then all of a sudden you're selling the smaller house that you sold them, and you're selling them a bigger house, or that $100,000 house is all they can afford, and it's their dream. And then they have 3 more people that want to buy $100,000 houses, and it's their dream. And you be kind to them. They're coachable, they're grateful, and it's like having kids on Christmas. Like, it's the best day ever for them. And if it can be the best day ever for you, you're doing okay. Like, if you're in this business just to make money, you're going to lose.
Absolutely.
You're absolutely going to lose. It takes a servant's heart. It takes somebody that actually cares about people, whether you're in leadership or you're just an agent. If you want people to come back to you, if you want repeat business, you have to treat people with kindness and respect, regardless of the price point.
Amen.
100%. If you are a new agent, if you are in sales in any facet, I want you to stop. PSA, stop the video. Back it up 5 to 7 minutes and listen to everything over again, because that was just absolutely gems on gems on gems. Guys, you will not learn this stuff by reading a textbook, but you will learn this stuff by listening to the people that are successful in it. And Tracy, I mean, everything you're saying is just hitting the nail on the head for exactly the exact things I tell kids that I mentor. The exact things that we're telling our team, that we're talking about in day or in weekly meetings. Like, these are the exact points, but if you do these things intentionally, you do them consistently, it's going to lead to success. But you have to be willing to do it. The Zillow leads and the leads in general are something I've never understood why people are scared to make money or scared to pay for. $500 a month sounds very scary, but $6,000 a year doesn't sound as bad when if you close a couple $100,000 houses. Then that number, your return on investment comes back quick. So, gosh, that was just filled with gems. So if you are a new agent, if you're a new in sales, even if you've been in sales for a while, go back and listen to that again, because there are absolute gems that were just dropped in that podcast right there. Woo!
Yeah. Stop selling and start helping. We say that all the time. Everyone gets in this business because they want to make a lot of money. I can sell a house. I can make, $3,000 to $5,000 selling one house. That's the reason everybody gets into this, is to make money. But when you reverse engineer that and say, how can I truly help this family? What do they truly need help with? Maybe it's better if they stay where they are, or maybe it's better if they keep that house and rent it out until the market does this, or, offer them alternatives, or maybe they want to bring on property management, or, maybe they want to sell to a family member, or whatever it is. It's about helping them find the best solution. And that grows over time, building those relationships, especially in a small community, because you want to take care of folks, because the word gets around fast if you don't. So yeah, I think that's a great, you have that same attitude that we have, and that's what's brought you success. Okay. So we're running up on 40 minutes already. So any other thoughts before we get into the huge four and the rapid fire round?
I just ask it real simple, you guys. When we're working with clients, whatever we're doing in this current moment, how is it going to improve the quality of your life? And if it's buying, selling, whatever, like Pete was saying, if it's not going to improve the quality of their life, then we don't need to move forward. So if it's downsizing, is downsizing going to improve the quality of your life? Do you have too much to take care of? If it's upsizing because the house is too small, how is this going to improve the quality of your life? Because people will move away from pain and they move towards pleasure, but typically people won't move towards pleasure as quickly as they move away from pain. So what's the motivation, and how does this improve the quality of your life? So if you can focus on that, especially, John, you've been saying as a new agent, if you can focus on that, just improving the quality of the lives of the people around you, you win.
Yep. And what goes around comes around.
Just listen and help others. Okay. Oh, yeah. Are you ready for the huge four, baby? But wait, before we get into the huge four, I did want to touch on this real quick. I forgot. Tracy and I go way back. For those of you who don't know, your brother Trent, we're part of the Lucas Mafia, where everybody knows everybody at Lucas. And Trent and I he was in my class. We graduated with, I think, 23. The big class, the big city of Lucas. We have one stoplight if you've never been there. And we were dirt bike riding buddies. Me and your younger brother Trent, and we would have many sleepovers over at your house with the dirt bike trail in the back. that famous
Mhm.
igloo dome shaped house. And I knew Tracy. Tracy was the older sister. She was always, she was very nice to us. She might have picked on us every now and then, but she was always very nice when we would come over.
And I don't want to get anybody in too much trouble, but Pete may have mentioned that back in the day he might have had a slight crush on you. You might have been the hot older sister in the band t-shirts. Just hate to air out any thoughts, but just maybe a secret I heard from a bird.
That could have possibly been true, not only for me, but for all of the boys that would come over to hang out at Trent's house. So yeah, yep, true story.
They went there for Trent.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, Trent. Love you, buddy. Love it. All right, so let's get on to the huge four. What's the one thing you wish you would have known when you began your career?
That a CRM is gold.
Woo!
Yeah.
Screaming from the mountains.
Waited. Yeah. I didn't start using my CRM until I had been in the business over a year, and trying to go back through and gather all the client information and stay in touch with these people that I felt like I had meaningful relationships with. Lucky for me, I always saved their phone numbers and I always saved their contact information. But I mean, it was literally hours and hours and hours spent going through text messages and finding people like, hey, how are you doing? Congratulations on your house anniversary. When I could have just put it in a CRM and had something remind me, hey, that friend you made 2 months ago, it's time to check in and say hi and ask them how they're doing. CRMs are absolutely the biggest thing that we need to use as agents to keep track of our people, because the more we sell and the more we do and the busier we get, we don't want to forget about those people, because I mean, we truly care about them, and you can't keep track of everyone all by yourself.
Right.
Right.
Now, with the CRM, I've heard people say a CRM is as simple as a notebook. Would you suggest it maybe be something more automated with technology?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, 100%. Because I mean, my phone was real simple, but it was, you know how many hours I spent digging through it trying to find people.
Yeah.
And I'm guilty. Like, I have a stack of notebooks like this. Like, I'm still, I'm Gen X all the way. I like to write stuff down, and I have all those notebooks, but then I take the stuff out of the notebooks and I put it into spreadsheets and I put it into my CRM. I try to do that at least once a week, because I don't know if I'm still textile or if it's just that last little bit of me that's refusing to give up the paper, but absolutely it needs to be digital somehow, somewhere where you're not going to lose it and it won't go away.
Yeah, that's a good trait that you were writing it down, because I think for me, I don't write much down, and now I'm taking notes finally. So I think it's, you were trying to get away from the paper. I'm trying to get to the paper and then like merge them, because I've not done a very good job at using a CRM like it is. I just done it to track my numbers. So I apologize to anybody I haven't kept up with, but I'm working on it. I still love you.
Absolutely.
Good.
How much? I mean, guys, Pete, Biggie, how much do I freaking preach HubSpot in my CRM?
Every day. You might as well get paid.
Yep. When I bring on new agents now, because of you, JP, the day I bring them on, I have them download the CRM. That day, when we do orientation, and I said, this is the key to your success right here, is following up.
There's nothing more
100%.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, number 2.
Yep.
Who's up?
I'll take it. Tracy, what was your biggest failure, and what did you learn from it?
Trying to run 100 miles and falling down at mile 94.
Yeah. You ain't tired?
6 more.
You only had 6 to go. But
Damn it.
Hopped on one leg.
I know, right? Yeah. No, they took me directly there to the emergency room because I tore my hamstring. I just couldn't go any further. And it, training for almost a whole year to do something like that and failing, there's a whole lot of ego go away to deal with. And it was a huge struggle. And even this past year of me running again, because this is the most I've ran since I dropped on that 100 miler. And I used to think that that was my pinnacle, and that was just the best I was ever going to do. That was the most amazing thing. Even though I failed miserably, that was my greatest accomplishment. And I was beating myself up because I'm like, man, fat girl, look at who you used to be. And that was my inner voice. And I was like, stop it. So now I have to take that moment and think to myself, that's what you're capable of. And I had to change my mindset, and I had to just close my eyes and think about that moment and change my mindset. And it's not like that's the best that's ever going to happen. It's like, that's what you're capable of. Get off your ass and go do it again. Like those moments when we have those pinnacles, we got to quit thinking to ourselves, like, that's the best I'm ever going to be.
Yes.
We got to think to ourselves,
Yes.
this is what you're capable of. You can do this. You can do better. You can get off your ass and be that person again. And you can beat whatever great thing that you think is the only thing left you have, and go get it.
Hallelujah.
And when that switch flipped, I had to switch that switch flip for me. Like, I can do this. I know I can do this. This is what I'm capable of. This is what I've accomplished. And this is what's going to drive me to do the next thing. And as soon as you quit beating yourself up over the things that you've already accomplished, and you think that this is just a bump in the road, and this is what I'm capable of, man, sky's the limit. The sky is the limit.
Amen.
But it took a while. But it took a while to get my ego to quiet down and quit beating me up for giving up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amen.
Which is, man, it's crazy to me, because in a way, I don't look at it as like it was a failure. You pushed yourself to your body gave out. To me, that's a victory. I never went that hard.
Yeah.
So but I see you had the 100, the number was 100. That was your goal in mind, and that was it.
Yeah.
But to me, I'm like, shoot, you went to your freaking leg gave out. That's outstanding. But you used it as fuel to push you forward to the next goal. So that's an amazing story, Tracy.
I have to say, while you were running that 100-miler, were you saying things to yourself so that you wouldn't give up? Because the words that you speak matter.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm like, I can go just a little bit further. I can go just a little bit further. And I got at that last rest stop, and they're like, we're calling your husband. You're not going any further. Like, we're calling Ryan. He's coming to get you. But I was like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Like, that's always my mantra. Like, it only hurts till the pain goes away. How many times have you heard that, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just a moment. And training as an endurance athlete, which I did for, a lot of years, like endurance athletes, like we have an inhuman pain tolerance. And I won't get into details of, the tragedy and trauma of my days of, partying entirely too hard. But that kind of trauma and that kind of abuse, like, to me, like any minor inconvenience is like, it's nothing.
Right.
It's not life threatening. Like, it's not that big of a deal. It's mind over matter. And, if my dad always used to tell us, if you're going to be dumb, you got to be tough. And I'm telling you what, I was the toughest kid I knew. Pete's heard it. I see him smiling.
That kind of sounds like something Pete would be told.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Just to piggyback on this, do you know who Jesse Itzler is?
No.
Okay. Well, you got to go look up on YouTube, Jesse Itzler, The Words You Speak Matter. He goes over a story where he's on a challenge to run a 100-mile race with this crazy guy, ex-Navy SEAL Chad Wright. I've shared it recently on Facebook. You got to watch it. It's probably going to fire you up because it's pretty much the same story you're already doing. Except he's never ran 100 miles.
Okay.
He only made it to 35.
Yeah.
And he made it.
Oh, wow. What a sissy.
He made it.
He didn't even tear a hamstring in half. Hey, so how did they fix that? Did they sew it back together or sew it to your... It
was just a tear, so there was nothing. I mean, I just had this giant purple bruise all the way down the back of my leg, and it was just suck it up.
You just have to immobilize it and...
I was carrying mail. I put a knee brace on and went back to work.
Damn.
Gangster. Absolute
Pay those
genius.
bills. All right, Biggie, number 3.
What are the best resources that have helped you along the way?
In real estate or life?
Anything.
Both.
Okay. So in life is my 100% a 12-step program. Like we've got a book, I have meetings, I have a sponsor. I sponsor other girls. Like I'm active in the recovery community. I still on a weekly basis, I go to meetings, and on a weekly basis, I talk to other people in recovery. And that's what keeps me moving. And I give back to the community that saved my life. So that is number one. Number two, real estate. I have a real estate coach. I have a professional coach. And I meet with her once a week. We spend a half hour. We go over, I have a goal setting sheet. So I go over the goals. I have a yearly, monthly, and weekly goal that I'm trying to accomplish. My weekly goals lead to my monthly goals, lead to my yearly goals. Accountability. I can't coach an entire team and not have somebody coaching me.
Yeah.
It kind of feels not nice. I don't know. Greasy, I guess. Like, why would I be coaching people if I don't have someone holding me accountable? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Lifetime learner, like every day, like with podcasts and books and stuff like that, there's always something that I can be absorbing. There's always something that I can be learning, whether it's meditation or if I'm working on something on the 12 steps or real estate. There's always a book or a podcast or some kind of workbook or something I'm writing down. Like it's constant. Like I'm going to be a student for life because you can never learn enough. I just can't. You know, I'm always hungry for more.
I love it. That's what we call a growth mindset. That's what we call a growth mindset. Love
and you mentioned it in the last one on the huge 4 is 2 books that have inspired your success.
The Road Less Stupid. If you guys have you guys heard that one?
Never heard of that one.
On the list.
Yep.
He talks very slowly. So you'll need to, I have to listen to it, I think at like 2 or 2.5, but it's absolutely mind blowing and it will change the way you think. And he always talks about if you don't learn and you don't think about what you're doing, you're going to pay the stupid tax.
Yeah.
So
pay attention.
He absolutely speaks my language. I also, I told you the comfort crisis was another big one. And right now I'm huge on Sean Aker and it's Big Potential. And if you guys have not listened to that one, the first book by Sean Aker is The Happiness Effect. And then the second book by him is Big Potential. And in Big Potential, he talks about how no one succeeds alone, of course. The power of positivity and the power of working together as a group. He talks about these lightning bugs, which this is wild. And you guys, you have the bro thing, so you'll love this. But these lightning bugs, when they light up one at a time, they're like, he says their productivity, like trying to mate with other lightning bugs is really low. And they did this study where these lightning bugs figured out they all lit up at the same time. And when they lit up at the same time, they were 161% more productive. So you're thinking, you know, why would you want to shine a light on the guy next to you when you're all trying to get, you know, but if everybody can be seen and everybody's working together, we're all more productive. And how is that possible? You know, so it's not like we're talking about in the beginning. It's not us versus them. It's how do we collaborate and how do we grow together? Because I was talking to, I don't know, one of your little guys. He's like, I shouldn't tell any of my ideas. I'm like, kid, tell everybody.
Yeah.
Tell everybody, because just because I have an idea, you know, John's not going to execute the same way that I do.
Exactly.
Pete's not going to execute the same way that I do. If we all have some kind of fantastic idea that's helping us be successful, man, shout that from the rooftops.
Yep.
Because we're all in this profession together, and like it or not, we're coworkers. We're in a little tiny town with little tiny people, and we don't have to have little tiny minds.
Exactly.
You know, we can work together regardless of who our logo is on the side of our chest, you know?
Yep.
And as long as we all do it together, we're all going to be hugely more successful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
100%.
there's something I learned in the Atomic Habits book, which I'm reading right now. It's a principle of science, and it ties into what you were talking about with the fireflies. And it's called Hebb's Law, and it's a neuroscience principle, but it's about synapses. The connections are strengthened when two or more neurons are activated continuously in time and space. In short, those that fire together wire together, and it increases results. So just like those fireflies lighting up together, if they didn't fire together, they wouldn't get the high results that they got. So I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Teamwork.
Positivity breeds positivity.
Yep. 100%.
The law of attraction. What you emit, you will receive.
Yep.
Yes. Okay.
Rapid fire.
Are you ready for the rapid fire round? All right. Boom. Give us the first thing off the top of your head here, Tracy. What is your spirit animal?
A lion.
What is your favorite movie?
I don't have one.
Nothing? Shawshank?
I don't.
Yeah, right.
No, honestly, if I have one movie that I watched over and over and over again, it would be Empire Records.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen it, watch it. It is just silly as hell, and it's fun.
What's your favorite food?
More.
That's a new one.
Probably sushi, probably.
Okay. That's you, Pete.
Pete?
Oh, what do you do in your spare time?
What is spare time?
Right. You put on your
Right
ruck
now.
vest and you walk the dog.
Yeah. Love to be anything outside. Anything outside. Love to travel with my husband, and I like to be outside.
If you could have dinner with anybody, alive or dead, who would it be and why?
Oh my goodness. Well, you guys got some crazy ones.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Who would I? Probably my grandma.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
We've heard that one a couple times.
Just because this is my grandma necklace. I miss her, and she was my biggest fan. She was the president of my fan club, and that woman loved me unconditionally through all my trials and anything that I did. It didn't matter. She was always happy to see me. And she's the one human on earth I know that it didn't matter what I did. She would just love me.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never felt unconditional love like that ever from anyone.
Love it. Love
Shout
that.
out to
Shout
Grandma.
out, Grandma. Yes, absolutely.
What's your I got the next one here. What's your go-to karaoke song?
I don't have one. I don't do karaoke. If I did, it would be something from Alanis Morissette, because I would just.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. You remind me a little bit. Your mindset. It's like my girlfriend. She's very strong. I wouldn't say independent woman, but just strong female. Could go toe to toe with the boys.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
What is something you fear?
I haven't found it yet.
She's fearless, boys.
Fearless
Love
leader.
It. We haven't had that one.
Very last one of the rapid fire round, Mrs. Jones. What is your greatest accomplishment?
Getting and staying sober.
Amen.
Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Thank you for joining us, Tracy Jones. Appreciate you very much. Any final thoughts, Tracy?
It's been a blast. I didn't realize how much fun a podcast with you guys would be. So thanks for the invite. I really appreciate it. I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to spend a little bit of time with you guys, and you guys have it figured out, right? Work hard, don't give up, and dream huge.
Man, we got a shout out from Tracy Jones. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Biggie. Thank you, JP. Thank you, Tracy Jones, owner and CEO, associate broker at the Tracy Jones team at Keller Williams Legacy Group. Where and how can folks follow you or contact you, Tracy?
all over the place. Tracy, Tracy, at thetracyjonesteam.com is my email. I am on Instagram, Grateful Tracy J. It's GR8 FUL Tracy J. On Instagram, I am on Facebook. You can find me just about anywhere.
Love it. Final thoughts, fellas?
Oh, this was a fun one. This was a fun one with a ton of gems, and I knew it would be. And Tracy, thanks for coming on and sharing what things have made your success and telling your story, because it's an incredible one, and you should be more than proud of it. And I have a lot of admiration for you, and just thanks for coming on and telling your story and hoping to inspire hopefully the next person to do the great things that you're doing. Thank you a ton.
Yep.
Yeah. That was definitely deeper than I was expecting. So I'm glad we got on here and connect some more.
Absolutely.
Yes. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Tracy. Thank you very much. And thank you all for listening and watching to the Dream Huge podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And as Tracy said, please remember the rules. Work hard, never give up, and dream huge.
Dream huge.
Boom. Let's see the guns, Tracy. Put them biceps up there. Oh, all right, y'all. We will see ya.